Every so often, it feels like the ground shifts under our feet. Something changes. Sometimes out there in the world, sometimes much closer than we expected. And a quiet question starts to resurface. Is this the moment everything breaks? You hear it in the headlines. You hear it in conversations, and sometimes you hear it in your own thoughts. This feels different. This time might be the one that replaces us. The interesting thing is that feeling isn't new. It's as old as time itself. It shows up whenever life moves faster than we do. And every time it does, we tend to tell ourselves the same story, usually with the quiet confidence that this time seems unprecedented. Long before our moment, before headlines, before machines were small enough to sit on a desk, there was another moment like this. A moment revealed in a story about a man standing at the edge of change. The work he knew was about to be replaced by something faster, something tireless, something that didn't get sore or slow down or need to stop. He wasn't imagining the change. It was real. And for reasons that mattered to the people who lived through it, the story took shape around that moment. Not because the outcome was simple, but because the question was familiar. What place, if any, does a person have when the world decides to advance? His name was John Henry. John Henry's work was physical, swinging a hammer, driving steel into rock, shaping tunnels through mountains so rails could pass through. Then innovative and mighty machines arrived, steam-powered drills that didn't tire, didn't slow down, didn't need rest. According to the story, John Henry was asked to race one, man against machine, muscle against pressure and steel. The outcome of the contest? Well, that depends on which version of the legend you heard growing up. In some tellings, John Henry wins and dies from the effort. In others, the machine wins. No matter the telling, the point is not who claimed the victory. It's the moment itself. A person measuring their place in a world that has moved on without consulting them. Stories like this don't survive because they settle arguments. They survive because they show up in the same kinds of moments, all over again. Whenever the pace of change accelerates, whenever tools improve faster than people can adapt, whenever something that once felt solid begins to fade. In those moments, we reach for the stories that let us ask the question out loud. Where do people fit right now? Not a slogan, not a solution, but just as a way to sit with the uncertainty without pretending it isn't there. That's why the details of the John Henry story change from telling to telling. History is surprisingly flexible about the details, less so about the pattern. The machines change, the setting changes, the question doesn't. Changes like these never stay abstract for long. What begins as a shift out there always finds its way into individual lives. Where do I fit now? Into roles, into routines, into capacities that don't fit. And when that happens, people don't respond in the same way because they don't bring the same things with them. Everyone arrives at moments like this carrying a different mix of abilities, often more than they realize and rarely the ones they expected to need. Not a single talent meant to solve everything, but something specific. The uncertainty isn't whether people still have value when the world changes. It's where that value fits when the old arrangements no longer hold. Stories like John Henry's don't tell us how to win. They don't promise that effort will always be rewarded, or that progress will wait for us to catch up. What they do offer is perspective, a reminder that moments like this, when the ground shifts and the future feels uncertain, these aren't signs that something has gone wrong. They're signs that change is underway, and history suggests that while change is relentless, people are stubbornly adaptable. So here's an ounce. That question, where do people fit when the world moves on? It's not a flaw in the story. It's the moment the story keeps returning to. The instant when something changes and the person gets to decide how to meet it. That's it. An ounce submitted for your consideration. Every human eventually meets this question. And if this story touched something familiar, we're glad you spent the time here. If you'd like to stay with us, a like, a subscribe, or a share helps. Thanks.